there's, I believe, just going down this rabbit hole because I see these movies and I click on that movie and I see all these other movies, customers to watch these movies, and then I click on that movie and it says customers should watch these movies, and it's just a fucking rabbit hole of just movie after movie after movie. And I think to myself, there's too many fucking movies, and I either need to decide like maybe I should just make a bunch of crappy movies or just not make movies at all and give a chance for other good movies to be seen, because I don't even know what to watch anymore. I'm just kind of going insane over here. Maybe I'm starting to like shitty movies, or maybe I always like shitty movies. I don't know.
Haugen does the movies, Haugen does the movies, Haugen does the movies for you.
Okay. Welcome to Haugen Does the Movies, where I review movies in my bathroom and I do it for you. Today I'm reviewing a movie called The Goatsucker, and this is directed by Steve Hudgens, written by Steve Hudgens, and is starring Randy Hartsty, Kim Walsh, and Neil Valls. This movie is about a touristy company that tries to take advantage of a small town where some killings have been happening in the forest, and they think it's some weird monster, and the tourist company is calling it a goatsucker. So they take a tour group out to the woods, and some bad shit happens. I think I'm going to start out with what I did not like about this movie. Man, I don't want to make fun of the actors or anything like that. I'm guessing these are untrained actors, and they are relying on the director to pull out some good performances from these people. I don't think that happened all the time. I don't think the acting was horrible throughout, but I just didn't think some of the acting was believable, especially in the beginning. If I wasn't reviewing this movie, I don't know if I would have got through the first 5 minutes. In the beginning, it was a shaky cam. So I was like, oh shit, a found footage film. Well, that's not the case. It's just poor production, which they did have a budget of $1,000. There were, I believe, 5 people on the tour. In the beginning, a tour guide is killed. So this bus driver brings these guys up, and they meet another tour guide that's just on her day off on a lovely hike. So the boss man talks to the tour guide that's on her day off, and he basically makes her do the tour, and she doesn't want to do it. So they go out, and this is one of the confusing things. She's like, cell phones don't work, and you better get used to it for the next 2 days. Which I'm like, next 2 days, all they had were like small backpacks. There's no camping gear, and like, where are they going to stay? They don't explain that at all. Also, the people that are there, it doesn't even seem like they're interested in the goatsucker. There was this one kid, he's like in his 20s, and then this other girl is stalking him, and then there's this guy who you find out is stalking the girl that's stalking the other guy. And then there's this one woman that she's older and she's just horny and she sees this younger kid and she wants to sleep with him and does. We'll get to that later. There's one older guy, Wayne, who we find out is a detective, and he's following this older woman in the group, and he's taking pictures of her. Well, her husband apparently is paying him $20,000 to find evidence of her cheating, so he doesn't have to pay alimony. Well, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, because like if that guy can afford $20,000 for a detective, you'd think that woman could, afford a decent vacation. And this tour thing it's just awful. I don't know if anyone would want to pay money to do this. But weird things start to happen. First, they find like a bloody dress or bloody clothes, and I think that's the guy that was killed in the beginning. Then their actual guy disappears. And then one of the scariest scenes in it is the older woman, Pam, has sex with this younger kid, Alan. He's like 20-ish, and it's terrifying. This sex scene is completely, utterly terrifying, and I dare you to watch it just for that. There's just something about it that just gives me the willies. And then the ex-girlfriend who's stalking Alan, I think her name is Rhonda, she's upset, and then she tells this other guy, Eugene, who you find out again is stalking her for about a year now. And so it's like, I question myself, did anyone actually go on this tour because they wanted to see the Goatsucker? And in the end, this other character comes in where you see him in the beginning, and then he comes at the end. And I don't want to give the twist away, just in case you do want to see it, because the twist was actually the best thing of the movie. And there were some actual real moments where it was like, wow, this reminds me of like the original Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was a terrifying movie, by the way. And there were some moments where like, oh, this is kind of scary, but then unfortunately it goes back to silliness. There was one part where Wayne was drinking, and then he's running in a circle under a bush, and he actually says, "Now I'm running in circles." Another thing I forgot to mention, I liked that the characters were not very likable because they pretty much all die. Spoiler alert, sorry. Except this one guy who he was an employee, and his boss was just a complete dick, and he kind of had a stutter, which I thought he might have been either the best actor or he actually has a real stutter. And I'm not trying to make fun of that. But either way, I really liked him, and I actually felt bad that he died because he was really likable. But yeah, when you make a movie like this, you gotta kind of make the characters not likable, but you want to make them watchable. And I think they, at some points they did. There's some rough moments in this movie, and that's what you're gonna get when you're watching a low budget movie like this. You're gonna have to turn your brain off. You're not gonna see, some great cinematography throughout the whole thing. You might see some decent cinematography, different parts of it, and you might see some good acting in different parts of it. But it's a difficult thing to do on a budget like this. But I think what they had, it's not awful. I'll be honest with you, I might be a little jealous of this team, which they're called Big Biting Pig Productions. They just are pumping out movies one after another. And maybe they got something going. I have, like I said, I did some research on them. It looked like they got a little bit of a following. The main thing I enjoyed about this movie was actually the writing. I thought if this director had a decent budget, this could have been a really terrifying film. But at the end, it really picked up and became very, very creepy. There was one part where there's a guy that has he uses a chainsaw and he cuts up this chick, and it's horrifying. So I'm going to rate this sucker right now. I'm going to give it 2.5 Haugens out of 5 Haugens, and the reason I give it that really was the script and the twist ending. So the only way I could really recommend this movie is if you watched it with some friends on one of those, bad movie nights. My assistant Adam had some different thoughts on it, and here's a clip.
Assistant does the movies, assistant does the movies, assistant does the movies for Haugen. Just finished watching Goatsucker. Yeah, I don't even know what, I can't say anything. I'm not going to review this one.
As you can see, we think differently on some things, but I think he made some interesting points as well. Adam, thanks for doing that. But I do, before we go, I want to read a review that someone actually wrote about Goatsucker, and they actually enjoyed the movie. This was by Sir Watch-A-Lot, and he gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This was really fun, camp and horror film, and I didn't see the plot twist coming. It was very clever, and it made me really laugh out loud several times. Good job. So this guy really enjoyed it. And I don't know if the laughs were done on purpose. And if they were, then maybe I'm wrong on this movie completely. But if you made it this far, do me a favor. Go to Amazon Prime and watch my movie too. And I had a bloody good time at House Harker. There is a link. And if you have time, just write a review. You like it, dislike it, whatever. As long as it's honest, we want to hear what you think. Thanks again for watching Haugen Does the Movies. Next week I'll be reviewing a movie called Hellraiser, so come back next week. That should be a good one. And again, don't take my opinion too seriously, because at the end of the day, I'm just a dude who reviews movies from his goddamn bathroom.